Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're getting into a story from Genesis that, honestly, it really turns your expectations upside down. We're looking at this question: can you find real, profound integrity in places you'd least expect, even when, figures we often admire maybe stumble a bit? We're digging into the dynamic between Abraham, Sarah, and King Abimelech of Gerar. This isn't just some dusty old story, no. It's a real challenge to how we think about who's good and where righteousness actually shows up. Our mission here is to peel back the layers of this, let's face it, morally complex situation and see what surprising truths are hidden inside. We're drawing from Abraham, Abimelech, and the Sacred Wife for some key details.
And you were definitely in for a ride with this one. It's a masterclass in subverting your first impressions, not just about the people involved, but about how divine oversight actually works. It's a really compelling look at how integrity can pop up in surprising places and how divine justice sometimes operates through channels that might even make us uncomfortable.
Okay, so let's paint the picture. For anyone who needs a quick reminder of this part of Genesis, Abraham and Sarah, they've journeyed south. They end up staying for a while in a place called Gerar. Now, Abraham has a bit of a track record here, doesn't he?
He does indeed.
Almost right away, Abraham tells people Sarah isn't his wife. He says, she is my sister. And, predictably, King Abimelech hears this, believes him, and sends for Sarah, takes her into his household.
Yeah, and you immediately feel the tension just skyrocketed, especially because Sarah is so central, Her role as Abraham's wife is key to God's whole covenant promise. So her being taken like this, under false pretenses, the stakes are suddenly massive, not just for Abraham and Sarah, but for Abimelech and his entire kingdom too.
Right. And this is where things take a really sharp turn. Divine intervention. God steps in incredibly directly. God actually comes to Abimelech in a dream. Middle of the night. Can you even imagine that? Waking up to a message from God.
It must have been terrifying.
And the message is blunt. No messing around. God tells Abimelech, and this is a direct quote, "Behold, thou art but a dead man, for the woman which thou hast taken, for she is a man's wife."
Yeah.
I mean, that's about as clear and, frankly, terrifying a warning as you can get from the divine.
Absolutely. Direct doesn't even cover it. But what's truly fascinating is Abimelech's response, right there in the dream. He doesn't just crumble. He immediately defends himself. He points out he hasn't even touched Sarah, and he pleads innocence based on what he was told. He says basically, Lord, are you going to destroy a righteous nation, an innocent one? Didn't he tell me she was his sister? Didn't you say he was her brother? I did this with a clear conscience, with integrity of heart and innocent hands. He's really stressing his lack of knowledge and pure intentions.
And God's response is the kicker, isn't it?
It really is.
Yeah.
Because God agrees with him. God says, yeah, I know you did this in the integrity of your heart. That's why I stopped you from sinning against me. That's why I didn't let you touch her. This validation of Abimelech's integrity of heart, it's huge. It's not just God saying, okay, you didn't know. It's a statement about Abimelech's actual character in that moment. Think about it. Abraham, God's chosen one, is acting out of fear and, deception. And here's Abimelech, the pagan king, showing this genuine, almost naive righteousness.
Yeah, it completely flips the script.
It forces you to ask, who's really acting faithfully right then? And maybe, how God's grace works isn't always confined to the people we expect.
So, after confirming Abimelech's integrity, God lays out the next step very clearly. Now, restore the man's wife. He's a prophet. God says he'll pray for you and you'll live. But if you don't restore her, know this, you will surely die. You and everyone connected to you. The consequences are incredibly severe, affecting his whole household.
Wow. So the pressure is immense.
Absolutely, and it shows how seriously God views the situation, protecting Sarah even when Abraham's actions put her at risk. It's interesting how divine intervention protects the one who was deceived, even the quote-unquote outsider.
So what does Abimelech do? He just had this terrifying, life-altering dream.
He doesn't hesitate. Gets up first thing in the morning, calls all his officials, his servants, and lays out the entire dream, everything God said, and the reaction. His whole court is, understandably, terrified.
I bet.
Then he calls for Abraham. And this confrontation is pretty powerful. Abimelech isn't scared now. He's direct. He asks Abraham, point blank, "What have you done to us? What did I ever do to you that you'd bring such a great sin upon me and my kingdom? You've done things to me that just shouldn't be done." And then he asks, almost incredulously, "What were you thinking? What did you see here that made you do this thing?"
It's a fair question. So how does Abraham, the great patriarch, answer that? What's his justification? Well, his explanation comes down to one thing, really. Fear. He tells Abimelech, because I thought, surely the fear of God isn't in this place. They'll kill me for my wife's sake.
Hmm.
It's almost startlingly human, right? Abraham, the father of faith, resorting to this deception because he was simply afraid. He assumed the worst about these people in Gerar.
Yeah, he judged them without knowing them, assumed they had no morals.
Exactly. And then he tries to clarify the lie. He admits it was sort of a half-truth. He says, and actually, she is my sister. She's my father's daughter, just not my mother's daughter. And then she became my wife.
Ah, the plot thickens. So technically, she was his half-sister.
Right. Which makes the sister part technically true. But the implication he gave Abimelech that she wasn't married, that was the deliberate deception. It's a fine line, but he definitely crossed it.
And it turns out this wasn't even a one-off spur-of-the-moment thing. Abraham confesses this was like their standard operating procedure, a plan they cooked up way back when they first left home. He tells Abimelech, when God had me wander from my father's house, I told her, this is the loyalty you'll show me. Everywhere we go, just tell people he's my brother.
So it reveals a pattern, a consistent reliance on this strategy out of fear, thinking it was the only way to stay safe. Quite revealing.
So, okay, the truth is out. God's command is hanging over Abimelech's head. What does he do to fix this mess? While his actions are pretty remarkable, especially given he was the wronged party, he makes full restitution, he gives Abraham sheep, oxen, male and female servants, and crucially, he restores Sarah to Abraham.
He does more than just give her back, though, right?
Oh, absolutely. He tells Abraham, look, my whole land is open to you, settle wherever you want. It's not just fixing the problem, it's an incredible gesture of hospitality and peacemaking.
And then there's that specific interaction with Sarah. It's quite unique. He tells her, look, I've given your brother 1,000 pieces of silver. Then he adds this phrase. Behold, he is to thee a covering of the eyes, unto all that are with thee, and with all other. Thus she was reproved.
A covering of the eyes. What exactly does that signify?
Well, scholars debate the nuances, but the core idea seems to be about public vindication. The silver isn't just payment, it's a symbol. It publicly acknowledges her true status and compensates for any potential dishonor or misunderstanding she endured. It essentially says, her honor is restored, her status as wife is affirmed, let everyone see this. It's a way to clear her name publicly. The reproved part might mean she was vindicated or perhaps gently admonished alongside Abraham for the situation. It's complex, but the main thrust is restoration of honor.
A very significant gesture from Abimelech. And then comes the healing.
Yes, following God's instruction, Abraham prays.
Right, Abraham prays for Abimelech, and the text says, God healed Abimelech, his wife, and his female servants so they could bear children again. The crisis is resolved. Health is restored.
And that detail about bearing children links directly back to the reason for the healing. The text explicitly states it. It says, for the Lord had fast closed up all the wombs of the house of Abimelech because of Sarah, Abraham's wife.
Ah, okay. So it wasn't just some random illness.
No, it was a direct, specific consequence from God, tied directly to Sarah's compromised status because of Abraham's lie. It affected their fertility, which was, a huge deal in that culture.
Yeah.
It really underscores how seriously God viewed the deception and its potential impact.
So wrapping this all up, what are we taking away from this deep dive? This story, Abraham, Abimelech, Sarah. It really does show these complex layers, human fear bumping up against, unexpected integrity, and divine protection working in surprising ways. It seriously challenges our easy assumptions, doesn't it? Like that the good guys always do good things, or that people outside the main covenant story automatically lack a moral compass.
Absolutely. And if you think about the bigger picture, this ancient narrative really speaks to our modern ideas too. Ideas about truth, about divine justice, about why people do what they do, even revered figures like Abraham. It forces us to look past simple labels like hero or villain. So maybe the thought to leave you with is this. What does this story teach us about where true integrity might actually be found? Sometimes, perhaps, it's in the most unexpected people and places. And what does it say about divine oversight, stepping in to correct things, even when the hero is the one who caused the problem? Makes you think, doesn't it?